Let's do it. It's Weather for Weather Geeks time on this Wednesday evening on this 11th day of May 2022. Just another fantastic day. What a week we have had. We started talking about this last week, that we'd have a great stretch of weather this week, and it's certainly met most of our expectations. Just about perfect with low humidity. When we have temperatures like this in July, typically it's accompanied by fairly high dew points and muggy air, but not the case this time around. We put up 4 goose eggs in a row now. 0 precipitation across the area since Sunday. We're still running a surplus through the first 11 days of the month. At the airport, 0.57 more than average, up to about 1.86 now at the Youngstown Warren Airport for the monthly precip totals, but we will not add anything to those totals until at least Saturday. So I think we're going to make it 6 in a row before all is said and done at the end of this week. Temperatures today, what a nice one. 83 this afternoon after a crisp 45 this morning, so it was a seasonable start to the day. But then the temperature this afternoon, a good 13 degrees warmer than the average. The record today back in 1936, 92, and the record low with a hard freeze on this date back in 1966 in the upper 20s. All right, quick time lapse from Columbiana today. Just a few cirrus clouds from time to time today. We've had these from time to time over the last few days. Those are really the only clouds that we've encountered, and these are high clouds. Cirrus clouds are typically found at about the level that airplanes fly, 25, 30, 35,000 feet, even up to 40,000 feet or so. These are comprised of ice crystals. They don't produce precipitation, and a lot of times we see cirrus as kind of blow off, if you will, from storms that are far away. So we've had some storms in the Midwest, and we don't get the cumulonimbus clouds or anything from those storms, but we get some high, thin cirrus blowing off the top of those storms, and that's what we've had over the last couple of days. Sometimes we've had some cirrus stratus, but for the most part, just cirrus clouds in the sky. And once again, it's a pretty active evening across the upper Midwest with a tornado watch out for parts of Iowa, Minnesota, western Wisconsin, kind of the same areas that had a severe weather threat at this time last evening. What an air mass that's pushing to the north. Hello, summer. Check out these dew points. I mean, 72 is the dew point in Des Moines. Chicago's muggy this evening with a dew point near 70. St. Louis at 73. We have that easterly flow and very comfortable air with dew points locally in the lower 40s. All right, we're going to zip through Futurecasts pretty quickly again this evening because nothing to show you on Thursday. On Friday, I think there'll be a few more fair weather clouds as we get into the afternoon. What's happening is our ridge is starting to break down by Friday. There's been a pesky upper low over the off the coast of the mid-Atlantic states. The atmosphere has been kind of blocked up this week. It's paid dividends for us, but it's been not so nice for the beaches of the Carolinas up through parts of the mid-Atlantic. And finally, as this ridge overhead breaks down, this upper low will start to meander off to the west a little bit, bringing in some clouds on Friday, especially from the Appalachians on east. But even around here, I do think there can be some patches of cumulus clouds building as we get into the afternoon. But no rain through Friday, even Friday night. Saturday starts dry, but I do think with this upper low starting to meander westward, there'll be enough instability in the atmosphere too that we're going to have to allow for spotty shower and thunderstorm activity Saturday afternoon. If you have outdoor plans Saturday afternoon, I would not cancel them at this point. But keep an eye on the forecast for the next couple of days because there's going to be these kind of random or hit or miss showers and storms. Impossible at this point to say who's going to get wet and who's not. But some places will, and some places will probably get away with dry weather Saturday. Similar weather coming up on Sunday. Speaking of Sunday, just another reminder, we have this total lunar eclipse coming Sunday evening. Really, the show starts at 10:30, but even between 10:30 and 11:30, there won't be a lot to see necessarily. The moon will start getting red in one part of it, but the total eclipse doesn't begin until about 11:30 p.m. It'll last almost an hour and a half. The total eclipse does not end until 12:53. If the clouds don't cooperate, we have another chance coming up in 6 months on November the 8th. Now, the big question is, what will the clouds do? I do think that Sunday will start with some clouds, and again, there's going to be some spotty showers and thunderstorms during the daylight hours Sunday. And with a cold front approaching from the west, we're going to allow for that chance for a couple of showers through the overnight. Now, will it be completely overcast at 11, 11:30, midnight or so when this eclipse is going on? It could be. Or the clouds might still be at that point thin enough that we can make out the moon through some of those clouds. I don't think it's going to be crystal clear I don't necessarily think at this point that it's likely to be just dead overcast and raining necessarily at that time, even though there is that possibility. So more updates on the Sunday night forecast as we go through the next couple of days. Over the next 10 days, largely a pretty mild pattern with the exception of a few days next week. Temperatures retreat to about average by Tuesday in the upper 60s to around 70. The coolest day looks to be Wednesday. I do think that we start to trend upwards again towards the tail end of next week into the following weekend. So by that third weekend of May, right around the, the 20th, 21st, looking pretty toasty again. I think we'll see a similar temperature regime to the one that we have right now, with some temperatures probably making it into the 80s. But a little cool interval, middle of next week. I don't think it'll be cold enough for a real good chance of a frost and freeze situation next week. So I would say we're up to about 90% odds that we've seen our last freeze of the season. Not going to say 100 just yet. Historically speaking, through today's date, about a 70% chance that we've seen the last freeze of the spring season. I would say this year it's up at about 90% through today's date, and we may be able to make that 100% as we get a little bit closer to next week, and we want to make sure that we don't have any chilly nights coming up during that little cool interval during the middle of the week. In the meantime, thank you for watching tonight's weather for Weather Geeks. We'll update the weekend forecast, talk more about the eclipse, and much more tomorrow evening, Thursday evening, right here on Weather for Weather Geeks.